Whenever we start research, one thing is always on our mind. Where does our own contribution come in? In this video, I'm going to be telling you how you can know the exact spot where your own contribution can come in. And that is what we call gap in literature. Some people can call it gaps in literature. So how do you know, or how do you identify the gaps in literature? That is exactly what I'm going to be explaining in this video. So if you found this video very helpful, or if you're somebody that wants to engage in any sort of research, and this is actually the right video for you, all you need to do is to smash that subscribe button, share this video, and also do drop your comments, particularly if there are other areas you want me to contribute to. So other than that, I'm just definitely going to be getting started on discussing gaps in literature for you. Do subscribe and let us go. Let's see you there. So welcome to the video. So we're going to be talking about how to identify gaps in literature. I'm just going to show you guys the post which I was talking about. So this is just what I talked about, and just to kind of zoom that in. So you're going to see here, I did talk about, you have to define your topic clearly. More like you need to be very specific. That's your ideal key concept. And then you need to conduct some comprehensive search. You could use multiple databases. And then, of course, when you're using multiple databases, it's really going to make a lot of sense for you. And you could use some relevant keywords and synonyms. They really help so much in your gap identification process. And you need to also apply what we call inclusion and exclusion criteria, because when you want to identify gaps, so many people get these things wrong. Whenever they want to identify gaps in literature, they just, start searching, and a lot of things. I'm just going to show you guys something. Let's say, for example, here, and maybe I just come to Google Scholar, for example. I'm just going to click that. And let's just take, for example, I want to work on something around maybe not malaria now. Let's say childhood malaria. Okay, so when I search childhood malaria, for example. All right, so what we're going to see here now is that we cannot have so much literature, right? And if I go to a database like PubMed, let me just go to PubMed, for example, and I just kind of search childhood malaria. I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about right now. And I search childhood malaria. Now, this is definitely going to give me a lot of results. Okay, it's definitely going to give me a lot of results, and this is actually really very important for you to note. But what do you need to understand right here is that before you do any type of stuff, you need to actually get what do you want to work on. You want to work on contraception among teenagers, or do you want to work on maybe leprosy, or you want to work on tuberculosis or type 2 diabetes? All those key concepts that you need, that's the first thing you need to do. You must make sure you identify them clearly. Okay, these are actually the concepts that I have in mind before I start my research. And then the next thing you're going to do now is to now conduct comprehensive search. Now, I'm definitely going to do a video on how you can do advanced search, for PubMed, several databases. But essentially, that's a very key thing you must do, right? And then, because you're definitely going to use multiple databases for you to identify a gap. Okay, and then you need to actually find some of the relevant keywords and synonyms whenever you're building your search. I do have a full video on that, but of course, like I did promise, I'm also going to do that. Now, also, if you find here now, you see that I kind of got a sheet, where I can just raffle around the table, and sometimes I might call this thing my gap table, right? I might just call this my gap table. So it means that if I call this my gap table for childhood, I'm just use that as an example, malaria. Now, I could use this table to do several things. Let me just know why that. Just to All right, so I could use this table for several reasons. I could use it to record the reasons for maybe my gap and all of that, justification and all of that. But basically, essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that these things must be well populated and stated in your search process. Now, also screening is also very important, because when I'm trying to do a search for childhood malaria, I must be able to say, okay, based on the inclusion criteria, am I looking for children in Africa, children in West Africa, children in North America, whatever thing. So it means that at the end of the day, I must now know, okay, these are actually the type of studies that I want to look at, and these are also the ones I want to look at, so that I know that I can now unravel what the ones I've looked at did that I can now come to do. Do you understand? So this is just essentially a very simple video on what? Simple explanation for gap identification. And the next thing now is that is where you now identify what is missing. All right? Because when you've now checked out all those studies, you now begin to see some inconsistencies that are actually there. And then you now begin to say, okay, I've seen something on malaria in Africa, but I'm not seeing anything on maybe typhoid related outcomes among children suffering from malaria. That's my same word. So at the end of the day, you begin to say, okay, I can't find any particular thing on this. Or maybe you're doing childhood malaria in Africa, and then the ones you're seeing are studies on prevalence, quantitative studies. Oh, I've not seen any qualitative study exploring experiences. What will you do? You come to your gap identification table and do what? Record reasons for gaps. Or gaps. That's where all the insights that you're going to be getting from here, right? You're going to be noting them and checking it based on the population, checking it based on the settings, which I did explain, maybe if it is among infants or whatever, right? Or maybe it's among pregnant women, women of childbearing age, men, adult men, whatever thing. Or maybe a certain heterosexual group, right? So that's just it. Then you check the settings and all of that. Now, that's where you begin to identify some patterns. Okay, these are what these people are doing. And this is also what these other people are doing. And you begin to group them by what? By studies and maybe by teams. That's just basically how it works. All right? So you begin to now say, okay, this based on heterosexual people or childhood malaria, these are the ones I found. Or maybe any topic of your choice, right? Because what I said might sound weird. Okay, based on maybe women of childbearing age malaria, this is the studies I found. You group them. All right? So that's it. And then you now summarize the key details using the table, which is what I have actually listed out here, all right? Because I do have a full crash course on, thematic synthesis and all of that. And then that's where you now start checking the limitations inside of all of those studies, because this is what so many people do. They don't really do these things. You don't really check the limitations. And this thing is something that really actually affects them. All right, so you evaluate the limitations, you notice the areas that you think that needs some sort of improvement, and then that means you're definitely going to double down on that. And then you formulate your research gap. That's where your research gap definitely is going to come out, because you know, okay, I could see clearly that there is missing studies here, and I want to double down on this. I'm just going to show you one small example, just to get you going, and then from there you refine your research question. Now, if we kind of have all of this now, let's try to say we're working on childhood malaria, right? So from this study by Snow, it's looking at childhood malaria mortality in Africa, all right? And of course, let me say I did get something from this other place here, and this person is talking about stakeholders, something on childhood, because some of these are keyword terms, right? What I could deduce from here, if I want to just use these two studies now, is that, okay, this is qualitative and this is maybe quantitative. By then I should have pulled so many studies, right? I should have pulled so many studies around childhood malaria, then I understood some patterns around it, then pulled so many from this other database, use my reference manager to do what? Conglomerate them, and then start going through them one by one. So basically what I could say from my first view upon knowledge site in here is that I don't think I've seen any study that has pulled some kind of global prevalence in Africa on malaria. So that could now become a gap if I've now passed through the 9 process that I've actually done and showed here. Because where so many people do get it wrong is that they don't narrow down their search, and they don't really have that framework for making better judgments. And that's where it's always important for you to have a gap table, right? So this gap table, what it does here is that it kind of makes it very easy for you to do what? Make judgments. So you can now say, okay, maybe here you can have the studies, you can have the reasons, but you have here another thing of maybe the studies, and then the final conclusion. Okay, so that's actually when you list all the studies that you want. You state some reasons, and of course there could be maybe some further studies or whatever. And of course sometimes we could call these maybe some other reasons as well, but depending on how you intend to formulate your stuff. And then this is the final conclusion, which means, okay, this is where the gap is. And of course, so some of the other ones I could just decide to take this out, and of course I have that here. So this is actually that for this particular video. You can list all the studies here, and each of them you posit the reasons and your final conclusion. So that's actually that. If you found this video very helpful, this is just kind of a slight explanation of what it looks like, but all you need to know is just to keep in touch. If you have comments, you could drop it. If you want areas that you want me to also double down on, and just wanted to make this video very short. Other than that, smash the like button and the subscribe button, and of course, whatever I see you in the next one. Thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next one.